Good afternoon, everybody. This is Ekta Sehgal Malhotra, founder AIMQ. Along with co-founder Ida Dwivedi, we extend a very warm welcome to all the participants to the session called Leadership, which is a part of the leadership series that we have organized on AIMQ. A very, very warm welcome to our esteemed guest speaker, Brigadier Vinod Datta. Brigadier Datta is a veteran, is an army veteran whose family has a name in the Limca Book of World Record for having the maximum men contributing to our country by being a part of the defense forces. He has experience in army as well as in the corporate world. He, has spoken on many topics, but the topic that we chose to have him speak is leadership. Because who better than an army veteran, along with the experience of the corporate world, to make us understand what leadership is all about? Leadership, as I understand, being a professional for the last 20 years, is a skill that many of us are born with and some learn to acquire with. So before getting myself colored more about leadership, I'm going to hand it over to Brigadier Datta to take us through to understand what leadership is all about. The series is broken into four sessions. First being today, where we'll understand all about leadership and what all will be there in the next series. I'm going to leave that to Brigadier Datta. So once again, a very warm welcome, Brigadier Datta. So the platform is all yours.
Right. Thank you, Ekta. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am singularly honored today to be talking to you on this subject, which has been so frequently talked about at various forums. I want to thank Ekta, and I also want to tell you that how we got connected. When I was a cadet, Ekta's father was my battalion commander, and what a towering personality he was. At that time, he was Sehgal from the Dogra regiment, and I still remember vividly. He had that, stylish and soldierly mustaches. An officer with calm, cool, and collected mindset. And whenever he came for the outdoors and the exercises, I remember he had that climbing stick, which could be unfolded into a chair, and he won't sit on the chair which was arranged for him. He will just lean on to that walking to the climbing stick and listen to the orders, and then calmly and comfortably he will come and tell the cadets, "Bache, you are going to be in war, so think from that point of view. It is not going to be peace. It is not going to be the way we are discussing things. So there you have to take decisions which are taken at the spur of the moment. You have to think the people who are following you with a lot of trust and faith." So with these words, I'm really indebted to whatever quotient of personality I have. It is a reflection of his personality and my own instructor. That time he was Captain Mehta. Later on, he retired as a General Mehta. So without much ado, I'll be taking you through this session on various nuances of leadership. Leadership, as we all know, is an age-old process, and it is part of the society. I mean, there are no colleges, there are no institutions, and there is no Play Store from where you can download a leadership app and you can apply and you can come out with flying colors. What is leadership? Leadership is nothing. Leadership is basically, it is a motivating force. It is the guiding force which a person has and which he motivates others, or he guides others, or he leads others in such a manner that they not only passionately achieve the goals, but they enjoy the journey also. So that is leadership all about. And since we are living in the age of scarcity, there is a deficit of leadership also. And by no stretch of imagination, or anybody in this world can say that, yes, they are leadership surplus. and more so in a country which is as large as a continent. We have large number of leadership challenges. Leadership basically requires three ingredients. First is individuals, second is a group, and the third is a cause. So once you have all these three ingredients, the leaders are churned out or they are kicked up and they assume the leadership pedestal. Because if you have individuals, if 4 of us or 15 of us are here, we are, and if there is a problem, we are obviously a group. And if there is a problem, we are going to choose one of us to represent us. And while we are assessing the problem, we have also assessed the personalities, that who amongst us is the person who can lead us and who can go and represent and talk to the management so that the problem is resolved. So much so about leadership. Now, I'll just share a presentation also. It's a small presentation which I have made. It is about leadership in a crisis. Now, the first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. You see, what happens is most of the leaders, whether he's a military, whether he's a political leader, or whether he's a business leader, some of the leaders are not giving the real picture. So a leader has to really define the reality. And the last is to say thank you. And in between, the leader is a servant. I will take you to the quote, to the officer's credo, which is embedded in the Indian Military Academy in a place called Chetwood Hall. And this is the picture of Field Marshal Sir Philip Chetwood, which said, the safety, honor, and welfare of your country come first, always and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of your men you command come next. Means your subordinates, the welfare, the honor, and the comfort of your subordinates comes first. And as a leader, whether you are a business leader, military leader, or a political leader, your own ease, your own comfort, and safety comes last, always and every time. And if you are going to follow this officer's credo or the leader's credo, I'm sure the boys are going to, or your subordinates are going to take you on your shoulders to the place of victory. I'm reminded of an incident in 1971 war. 3rd Jat was the Pulton, which was commanded by Colonel Hyde. And it was Pakistan had put up a very formidable front. And it was nearly impossible to take on the city of Jarpal. Colonel Hyde, who was commanding the unit, he was a Christian. He had Jat troops, and he called them. And in the typical language, he had said, क्या हम लोग दुश्मन को वहां से भगा पाएंगे? And the boy said, हाँ साहब, क्या हम उस पोस्ट को ले पाएंगे? उन्होंने कहा, हाँ साहब. And the concluding remark of Colonel Hyde was कि या तो हम वहां सब इकट्ठे पहुंचेंगे या जिंदा या मुर्दा हम वहां पहुंचेंगे, लेकिन पोस्ट हम लेके रहेंगे. और Battle of DograI has become a history in the annals of warfare. And that city was not taken once, it was captured twice from Pakistan. And Pakistan had to literally flee from that area. So I just want to tell you that in whatever field you are, in whatever field you are leading people, I'm not talking of military leadership. I'm also talking of corporate leadership. I'm also talking of political leadership. I'm also talking of any other kind of leadership. You have to follow these principles because it is the Naam, Namak, Nishan. It is basically the organization comes first, the country comes first, the insignia under which you are working comes first. Why is it in South India or even in North India, the name of families joined with the boys and the girls? You will find people from South India, they will have, say, R.K.V. Rao, and R will be representing the village, K must be representing the family, and that is name. It is because it always reminds you that yes, your family, your village, that comes first. नाम, जिस नाम के नीचे आप काम कर रहे हैं, नमक, जिसका नमक आप खा रहे हैं, you have to be true to that organization, you have to be faithful to that organization, and nishan, जिस परचम या जिस फ्लैग के नीचे आप काम कर रहे हैं, that is very important. So in the leadership fulcrum, you will find that management or the organization or the executive body is the bedrock of any leadership. Then you have to have goals. The organization or the leaders should be able to fix goals. In fact, in our business schools or in our colleges and schools, we have been told to follow rules and regulations. We have been told to achieve goals, but none of the business schools or any other schools of instruction or institution teaches you how to set goals, how to redefine goals, how to modify goals, or how to question goals. There is a definite requirement where we have to ensure that not only our leaders are told to achieve goals, but they are also told to modify goals, to redefine goals, and to readjust the goals. Because in today's VUCA world, which is vulnerable, which is full of uncertainties, you have to have that kind of adaptiveness so that you can adapt yourself. When you are setting goals, the setting of goals has to be smaller and achievable. It should not be like that कि एक बड़ी अच्छी लाइन मुझे याद आती है कि मिल गए मजलिस में, बैठ गए मजलिस में जुगनू सारे. जुगनू आपने देखे होंगे, रात में वो चमकते हैं और बड़ा ही उम्दा और बड़ा ही रमणीक दृश्य होता है वो. बैठ गए मजलिस में जुगनू सारे और ऐलान किया कि सूरज को बदला जाए. So we should not have goals like this. We should have achievable goals. Our goal should be like the way we eat our paratha or roti. We eat the entire paratha, we eat the entire rotis which are served to us, but we just don't gulp the entire roti. We just take the morsel, enjoy it, complete it, and then we take another one. So this is how you should plan your goals. You have to plan them, act, and implement those goals. The next is vision. The next step is vision. And goal and vision, they both complement each other. If you do not have any kind of vision, if you are today as a leader, if you are motivated, or you are impressed, or you are influenced by a person who may be an achiever, and tomorrow you are again influenced and impressed by another person, and then you switch your goals or you change the goal post, you don't have any vision. What you have to do as a leader, you have to find out what kind of potential you have. You have to have that kind of talent mapping, because it is not necessary that everybody has to become an IAS officer, or he has to become a military officer, or he has to become a CEO, or he has to become a minister or an MLA. No, by no stretch of imagination. You see, you must have seen that Fukre movie. I find that movie is a best management tool, because everybody dreams, but not everybody dreams equally. We all dream, but it was that boy who dreamt and who could decode those dreams. So we should understand, we should know how to decode our dreams. It is not that I see Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and I start dreaming that I have to become one. Yes, you will become if you have the potential and if you have really done a talent mapping of your personality. क्योंकि एक शायर ने कहा था कि हर इंसान की अपनी चाल है, हर इंसान की अपनी चाल है, हर इंसान की अपनी परवाज है, कोई जमीन पे रह गया, कोई कहकशां से मिल गया। कहकशां लाइटनिंग को बोलते हैं। तो हर आदमी के अपने अपने दायरे हैं, अपना पोटेंशियल है, उसकी अपनी कुव्वत है, उसकी अपनी जो कार्य क्षमता है वो होती है। Now I want to tell you something about teamwork. You see, Army is an organization which selects its officer. Firstly, let me tell you, and this also goes for the young millennials who may be listening to this talk. Army is the only organization which firstly has no reservation. Secondly, it has no minimum pass marks or qualifying marks. In most of the exams, you'll say minimum 50%, 55%. Army is the only organization where if they are selecting their officers, they say you have to just pass. You may be 33%, you may be 99%. But they have a very stringent method of selecting officers. There are people who are not selected in 2 to 3 batches because they are looking for the right talent. If you want to become an IAS officer, you will be interviewed for 40, 45 minutes and you will become one. But in Army, they test you for 5 days. There are 23 tests which are conducted on you. And that includes teamwork, sociometric, command ability, leadership ability, working in a teamwork. Because if I come and stay with you, if I come and have a, if I come and have a cup of coffee with you, I can really influence you. मैं बड़ी लच्छेदार बातें करके I will, give you such a fine impression that yes, you will say, oh, there's nobody like Brigadier Datta. But if I come and stay with you for 5 days, you will realize that he's the most, he's the biggest clown going around. He doesn't know, firstly, how to use the washrooms. He doesn't know how to dress up. He doesn't know, he doesn't have any table manners. He can't live in a team. He cannot, live hygienically. So all these things are tested. So to work in a team, because whatever organization you join, whatever, echelon you are heading, you have to work as a team member. You have to be a useful team member. Today, I may be heading a team, but tomorrow, if the operational requirements are there, my team may be merged with somebody more competent than me. Then I have to work as a subordinate with him. So by no stretch of imagination, I can say, no, I was heading a team. I'm not going to work with you. It doesn't work. So have that kind of adaptability. Have that kind of teamwork. And let me tell you, there is one thing which is very important. That is, please learn to be adaptive. Because if you cannot adjust, unfortunately, what is happening is today we have nuclear families. There are advantages, but there are a large number of disadvantages also. Today, every child, you see, there was a concept when we came down to 2-child theory, and then there is a time when people are having only 1 child. I mean, I respect their views and I respect their ideology, but what happens is the child is so pampered. There is a difference between grooming and pampering. The child is so pampered that when he or she has to go and rub shoulders with the society, he or she finds it very difficult, because in his own house, he has been treated like a prince and she has been treated like a princess. But once you go and rub shoulders in the society, because as they say कि अश्क अश्क है शबनम नहीं है, आंसू आंसू है शबनम नहीं है, दर्द दर्द है सरगम नहीं है, पेन इज पेन, इट इज नो गुड म्यूजिक, ये जिंदगी है मेरे दोस्त, फसाना नहीं है. तो ड्राइंग रूम में बैठ के या टीवी पे सीरियल देख के जिंदगी का फलसफा नहीं समझा जा सकता. And that's why I am reminded of our, training in academy, when we were considered, in a manner which was at times subhuman. And when we passed out and when we went as instructors and we did the same thing, then we realized it is basically to make the cadets realize, to make the subordinates realize that you have this kind of potential. And should you need, or if there is a requirement at the face of enemy or under crisis situations or under odds, you will remember this day, that if I could do it that day, I will do it today also. That is the strategy. You see, you have to have strategy. You see, there are 3 tiers of level working, and then is the strategic. Unfortunately, you see, we don't have any kind of institutional memory. The leader should have a strategic vision. They are supposed to be thinking much ahead. And you will be wondering, some of the people, those who have army background, they'll realize, I have heard a lot of IAS officers and other officers talking, in army, aapke to bade ash hote hain. You have, a helping hand for everything. Yes, you are given a buddy, you are given a driver, you are given a person to cook for yourself, you're given a person who will make your uniform or dress. There is a reason behind it, because as a leader, you are supposed to be thinking ahead. You are not supposed to be, drowning yourself in mundane and routine things. You have to be immaculately dressed up. You don't have to, you can't be, dressed like, dressed up like an unmade bed. So these are the reasons why you should have strategic thinking. Unfortunately, in our nation, we are seeing that we lack the right kind of strategic vision. So whatever organization you are heading, please think ahead. Please think ahead. I remember when I was a captain, I had a deputy commandant who told me, please make a plan for the junior commissioned officers accommodation. So I had planned a, scooter garage for them. So he told me, he says, what have you done? He says, plan for a car garage. So I started, questioning him. I said, sir, why? Because they don't, they are moving on cycle. They don't even have scooters. He says, by the time this project comes back, some of them will have car. So that is called strategic thinking. That is, called thinking beyond the horizon. Then the next thing which has come is, you see, a leader is a guiding star to others with a radiant promise. A leader should not be like, आपने देखा होगा शोले फिल्म में असरानी बोलता है कि 50% मेरे बाएं, 50% मेरे दाएं, balance मेरे पीछे. That is no leadership. You have to have that kind of radiant force. Next comes the challenges. You have to face challenges. There is nobody in this world who doesn't have challenges. There is nobody in this world who doesn't have problems. And if you don't share and care, you will always think that my burden bag is the heaviest. गुलजार साहब ने कहा था, मैं ही सोचता था कि मैं ही रईस हूं गमों के मामले में जब लोगों से मिला तो हर इंसान शहंशाह निकला. So everybody has got problems. What you have to do is you have to sometimes isolate yourself. Sometimes you have to interact with people, and sometimes you have to literally take the problem head on. Do not procrastinate. Do not relegate things, because tomorrow they will get compounded. Because what I have seen in today's youngsters is that they always relegate things. Kal kar lenge. Mom, there is a lot of time. Dad, you are honestly worrying. You see, whatever you have to do, because time management is very, very important for a leader. And if you cannot manage your time, I'm afraid you will not be able to manage yourself, because there are so many distractions in this world today. Like, I mean, I don't blame the youngster. Even we sit on a computer and get into social media. You know, it is like a quicksand. You will always, promise to yourself that, okay, I'm going to sit there for 5 minutes. I'll just check my mails and come back. Or I'm going to be there 15 minutes. And, by the time you look at your watch, it is going to be 2 hours, 15 minutes. So you have to control yourself. You have to control yourself. Next is motivation. You see, when I was a young child, I used to go for riding. And I still remember the name of the horse, which was called Tobruk. And the Sais, who was responsible for my riding classes, his name was Jacob. He used to always tell me, he said, Baba, जब आप riding करके आप dismount होते हो, then आप घोड़े को दिलासा दिया करो. I asked him why. He says, you must reward the ride. I said, ठीक है. Then next day he told me कि घर से आप थोड़ा सा गुड़ जैगरी लेके आया करो and give it to the horse before you mount the horse. The aim was that you must reward yourself. देखिए, शास्त्रों में कहा गया है कि ऐसा कोई मंत्र नहीं जिसमें कोई शक्ति न हो, ऐसी कोई बूटी नहीं जिसमें कोई मेडिसिनल वैल्यू न हो, और ऐसा कोई इंसान नहीं जिसमें कोई खूबी न हो. You have to, as a leader, find out what kind of talent your team has got, what kind of job, X can do, what kind of job Y can do, what kind of job Z can do. And you have to deploy that talent as per their interest and their potential. Because you cannot, tell a person, if he's interested in IT, you can't be telling him that you give a motivation talk. So you have to reward yourself. Whatever smaller gains you are getting in life, congratulate yourself. Swami Vivekananda had said, talk to yourself for 5 minutes every day. Talk to yourself for 5 minutes every day, or else you will miss meeting the most important or most interesting person of your life. So you have to understand what are your pluses, what are your minuses. And motivation is very, very important. If you are not motivated, I'll just give you an example. You see, तुलसीदास जी थे, जब वो एक बार अपनी पत्नी से मिलने गए, and he was in, he used to love his wife so much. She had gone to her in-laws place. तो बारिश हो रही थी और उनको कुछ दिखाई नहीं दिया, तो एक रस्सी उन्हें दिखाई दी और वो उस रस्सी को पकड़ के उस खिड़की पे चढ़ गए. And later on he realized that it was not rope, it was a snake. And that time his wife had said कि जितनी आसक्ति तुमने मुझ में कर रखी है, अगर तुम भगवान से ऐसी आसक्ति करो तो you will be a renowned personality in the world. And that one sentence hit him so hard that, what place he enjoys even today. So motivation, dedication is very, very important as for a leader. Because if you are not motivated, you will have a low self-esteem. If you are not motivated, you will not have that kind of energy. आपने देखा होगा कि कई बार once you are motivated, you can move the mountains. You must have seen that Manji character who created a road in the mountains. You must have seen Mr. Afroz. He has cleaned the beach in Bombay. He has 1.5 lakh followers. And now the turtles are breeding there. And he started alone. Today, the film stars, the celebrities, the students, everybody is motivated. There was a girl called Punia. She had gone to Andaman Islands. When she saw the muck all around on that island, she decided she forgo her degree where she was going to Sussex for a degree. She refused. She says, I am going to clean this island. And she did. So you have to have that kind of motivation. Once you have all these kind of ingredients, then the leadership emerges. And that's why leadership has been put at the highest pedestal. Once you have these bricks or the foundation, the leadership is firmly embedded on the highest pedestal, as we see in this. This we have seen. Now, no talk of mine is complete unless I talk of Field Marshal Manekshaw. You see, I consider him as one of the greatest leader. When he was the chief of the army staff, and let me tell you, if you go to Shillong, in the 58 Gurkha Rifle Training Center, he belonged to the 8 Gurkha Rifles. His mark sheet is displayed there, in which it is written, Sam Manekshaw passed out with 3rd Division. His father was also in the army. He was a major. When he was the chief of the army staff, he enjoyed such a great status with the Prime Minister, Srimati Indira Gandhi, who was the Prime Minister, and she was an iron lady. He used to call her sweetie. And you can imagine that a chief of the army staff, if he can call a Prime Minister a sweetie, and who can have a dissent with a Prime Minister, what kind of personality he must be. In 1971 war, when the East Pakistan, there were atrocities which was being carried out on people. There were refugees who had started moving into India. Srimati Indira Gandhi knocked at all the doors at various forums, but since India was not a developed country, we were not heard. So it was decided that India should launch an offensive or launch an attack on Pakistan so that these refugee problem, and if you ask your parents, they will tell you एक refugee stamp हुआ करती थी, एक refugee stamp हुआ करती थी जो लगती थी एक लिफाफे पे या अंतरदेशी पे या postcard पे. That was a kind of a cess what we are doing. In 1965, India has undergone such a great famine that after 1965 war, I still remember my father telling that Monday used to be fasting day because we had only 7 metric tons of grain. And it was America who gave us the wheat, which was called as under the scheme of PL 480. So that was the condition. So all people from good families were told to have fast on Mondays so that the poor can eat food. Okay, digressing from that. When Srimati Indira Gandhi told General Manekshaw that I want offensive to go in April. So he said, sweetie, this is no time to launch an offensive. Firstly, this is not a campaigning season. The rivers have become ocean in East, and my army is also not prepared. I can't let my army be butchered. He says, then what is the time? He says, nothing before October. And I'm sure Mrs. Gandhi did not like it. So he immediately said, Madam Prime Minister, would you like my resignation on mental grounds, health grounds, or personal grounds? And I'm ready to do so. And he just walked off. The next day he was called. And when he reached the Prime Minister's office, he was carrying in a file his resignation letter because he realized that, yes, she is going to say that you are no longer required. Thank you very much. So when she said, okay, can we again have a rethink on that? He says, there's no rethink on that. But he says, I will get you such a decent victory that the entire world is going to remember it for centuries. And the same thing happened. 1971 war is a textbook war, and 93,000 soldiers, they surrendered. And the most trusted general of Pakistan, Lieutenant General Amir Abdullah Khan Niazi, he surrendered. And when General Jacob had gone to get the instrument of surrender signed, he rang up the Akas in Western Pakistan. Nobody picked up his phone. And he put his hand on his head and said, I hereby surrender, because now those people are not even taking my call. So that is the kind of leadership we must always, appreciate our subordinates. I'll give you another example. You must condone the mistakes of your subordinates, because we have done so many mistakes. And today, if we have reached whatever status we have reached, it is because somebody has condoned our mistakes. General Manekshaw, when he was an army commander in Kolkata, he had gone to visit Nathula. He asked one of the company commanders, Major, he said, what is your likely approach of enemy? He said, sir, the enemy will come from this side. General Manekshaw said, no, I feel he will come from this side. He said, sir, I am the company commander. I stay here 24/7. I have seen every inch of ground. The enemy can come only from this direction. And that's why I put my machine guns here. There was a lot of dissent. और अमूमन जैसा दुनिया में होता है कि अगर आप गैस पे पतीला रखें और उसके अंदर कई बार लेडीज एक चम्मच डाल देती हैं जिससे दूध उबल ना जाए, तो आपने देखा होगा कि पतीला कम गर्म होता है, चमचे ज्यादा गर्म हो जाते हैं. And the same thing happened. That officer was written off. And by the time General Manekshaw had gone as chief of the army staff, when the result was put up to him, that officer was rejected. He picked up his red pen and he wrote, if this officer can have courage to have a dissent with an army commander, he deserves to be a commanding officer. Promote him. So that is the kind of courage you should have. That is the kind of charisma you should have as a leader. Because what we require are organic leaders like General Manekshaw, and not toxic leaders, what we have in, which are weighing in tons and tons. Next is, you see, the physical fitness. I want to tell all the leaders, you should be physically fit. Because शास्त्रों में कहा गया है, पहला सुख निरोगी काया, दूसरा सुख हो घर में माया. आपके पास माया होनी चाहिए. और physical fitness will ultimately result into mental robustness. In pandemic, आप कितना गिलोय खा लीजिए, कितने कैप्सूल्स खा लीजिए, कितनी दवाइयां खा लीजिए, if your immunity is not good, I am sure you will not be able to, fight coronavirus. And those people whose immunity is good, they have been defeating corona. So I always tell the youngsters that you must keep yourself physically fit. And after 24 hours, I always say, 1 घंटा देह के लिए और 1 घंटा देश के लिए. This is a tagline which I always use, that you must follow, at least give. And I don't say you have to, subscribe yourself to some gym and by giving 10,000 rupees and wearing shoes worth 12,000 rupees. No. Keep walking, take stairs, keep walking. Do whatever you want to do, but keep yourself fit. Next is discipline. Discipline is very, very important. People have been talking of discipline. Discipline के नाम से ही कई लोगों को बुखार आ जाता है. What I want to tell you is, discipline is nothing. It is not a rocket science or it is not nuclear physics. Discipline is basically the good practices which have been passed over by a mother to a daughter by a father to a son, by a guru to a shish. So it is basically the good practices which you should follow. And if you follow discipline, I always compare it with a bow. आपने देखा होगा धनुष, उसके अंदर जो रस्सी होती है उसको प्रत्यंचा कहते हैं. जब तक वो प्रत्यंचा, that रस्सी उस पे चढ़ी रहती है, it is a weapon. The moment it becomes loose or it is broken, it becomes a stick. So that is the importance of discipline in our life. If we are not disciplined, I am afraid we will not be able to achieve anything. Next is the sluggish behavior which some of the youngsters they show. As a leader, आलस का कोई काम नहीं है. As a leader, you should have what is called in Shastra Swana Nidra. You should sleep like a dog. And there is, you see, there are a large number of things we must learn from this, pet or a family member of ours. You should, as a leader, like what Abdul Kalam had said, sapna wo nahi hai. Dream is not what you see while sleeping. Dream is what which don't let you sleep. So that should be your aim. As a leader, if you have a goal, you have to go hell on leather for achieving that. Now, if you start having that kind of phlegmatic life or a lazy disposition, as per one study, it takes 18 to 254 hours to make a habit. So if you stop reading newspaper, if you stop going for a walk, if you stop brushing your teeth, it will take 18 to 254 hours and you will stop doing it. And it takes 60 to 70 days to make it as a behavior. And once you have this kind of behavior, it turns into a belief. So if you feed that lethargy wala bull inside your soul, inside your body, and if you do not work hard, if you do not do physical exercises, the bull which you are feeding the most is going to win, and you are going to be a lazy, phlegmatic people. इस शरीर को आप जितना कष्ट देंगे, उतना ही आपका साथ देगा. जितना आप इसका आराम में साथ देंगे, बाद में यही आपको कष्ट देगा. Then don't leave your things for last minute, because there will always be more details than the last minutes. So you should not leave everything to the last minute. Please plan your things. Now, if you see the colors of any military academy, you will find that they are blood red and steel gray. The blood red indicates sacrifice. As a leader, you must sacrifice. You should know how to sacrifice. You should know how to sacrifice your comfort, your life for others. And steel gray indicates tenacity and toughness, because they say those who sweat more in peace bleed less in war. And they also say when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So you have to be, tenacious person. Next important thing for a leader is decision making. He should be able to take decisions. And let me tell you, there are a large number of people who are here. I always advocate family democracy. Include your child in decision making right from his childhood days, because the child has that kind of talent, he has that kind of wisdom. उसके अंदर वो विवेक है, क्योंकि आप अगर 6 महीने के बच्चे से भी चॉकलेट और चिप्स दिखाएंगे तो वो चॉकलेट की तरफ हाथ कर देगा. That means he can decide things for himself. So include your kids in family democracy. There was a report by McKinsey. When a survey was done on Fortune 500 leaders or the companies, the business leaders, some of them, they failed in tactical level decision making. So they could take strategic level decisions, but they failed in tactical level decision making. Reason? Because they could not pay attention to the routine and mundane and smaller things. And such slippages resulted into major failures. So inculcate that habit of decision making in your child. Don't put him on crutches. I remember when I was a small kid, my father told me, please go and do a money order for your grandmother. So I told him, I said, I don't know how to make a money order. He says, why can't we send our Sahayak? He says, no, since you don't know, now nobody will go, you will only go and do the money order. And please come and write the entire procedure and tell me in the evening, once I come back from the games, that what all steps are there in doing a money order. So it is always better to empower your child. It is always better to give him tough conditions. So then that when the going gets tough, he gets going. बशीर बद्र ने कहा था कि कोई चांद लाकर नहीं देगा, कोई चांद लाकर नहीं देगा, अपने चेहरे को जगमगाया कर. इस जिंदगी में कोई आपका साथ देने वाला नहीं, कोई साथ देने वाला नहीं. You have to fend and fight for yourself. So be that kind of strong personality which you can. Then you should have a motto: improve. You must always improve. There is always a room for improvement. If somebody says कि मैं एक मुकम्मल शख्सियत का मालिक हूं, तो वो शायद गलत फहमी का शिकार है. You must improve yourself. You must ignite your ideas. And you must inspire people. You can nourish yourself every day. You can nourish yourself every day. Do what makes you happy. You can, teach somebody, you can help somebody, and you will realize that what kind of gain you have got. Then the rational decision making we have already discussed. Lethargy and energy also I have discussed. Another thing is, avoid, especially this is for younger children and this is also for the parents, avoid dark playgrounds, that risky stimulus. Today, the children have been given far too many facilities. It is a good thing. They are more intelligent. They are more resourceful. They have more reach. But we must, I by no stretch of imagination, I am advocating helicopter parenting. No, but just keep an eye on your kids. Guide them, give them a positive stroke. आपने देखा होगा जब वो कुम्हार बर्तन बनाता है, the potter, so it is giving you a positive stroke by which, he's shaping that pot to take the shape which he wanted. Then the children should be told that they should have very happy relationship with timelines. They should be friendly with timelines. Because if you are not able to meet the timelines, it is of no use. वो कहते हैं ना कि जिंदगी भर तो हम किसी को पानी नहीं पिलाते, मरने के बाद गंगा जल ठूसते हैं उसके मुंह में. So ask your children or ask your subordinates, ask your young leaders to have friendship with timings. You see, when we were doing Defense Services Staff College, the submissions used to be at 2:10 in the night, or 2:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So we used to ask our instructors, I said, sir, what are these funny timings? Either we can give it earlier or we can give it in the morning. And that guy will be sipping coffee in the locker room. And the moment it used to be 2:30, he will just pull out the files and just walk off. Even if you give after 30 seconds, he's going to smile at you. He says, yeah, next time, sorry, I'm not going to assess you for this. It was basically to inculcate that habit of punctuality. It was basically to inculcate that habit of meeting the timelines, the deadlines. So that is very, very important. Now, with the these words, I just want to give you a quote from again Field Marshal Manekshaw. He had rightly said, "Give me a man or a woman with common sense and who's not an idiot, And I assure you, I can make a leader out of him or her. And how true are these words? Now, a word about military career, since China is always on the horizon and has been, in everybody's mind in some form or the other. In 1962 war, he was a personality who had refused the then defense minister, B.K. Krishna Menon. And obviously, if you refuse a defense minister, he was sidelined as a brigadier, and he was given a not very important or operationally important assignment. After a crushing defeat in 1962 war, a lot of people advise him that the only person who can restore normalcy or who can stop this onslaught of China is Brigadier Manekshaw. His first order, he was called and he was given charge of a brigade. And his first order was, there will be no withdrawal without orders. He said, there will be no withdrawal without orders, and these orders shall never be issued. And thereafter, Chinese never got an inch once he had taken over that brigade. Leadership is all about vision, values, empowering. I have already discussed. You must empower yourself. As I told you, कि कोई चांद लाके नहीं देगा, अपने चेहरे को जगमगाया कर. You must encourage people. You must inspire people. You must appreciate people. There is a difference between leader versus manager. A leader is a person who's followed by others, whereas a manager is a person controlling or administering a business or a part of business, a person regarded in terms of skill in household or financial or other management. Leadership versus management. Management seeks stability and predictability. Leadership seeks improvement through change when there is a disorder. And that's why they say leaders love chaos. They love disorder. Leaders do the right thing. Managers do things right. And the ethical leadership basically encompasses respect others. If you recall the incident when Alexander had captured Porus, and Porus, after giving a good fight, when he was brought to Alexander in chains, he asked him, what kind of treatment should be given to you? And Porus had said, Jaisa ek raja ko treat karta hai. And Alexander liked the reply so much that he told him that he should be freed, and he gave a seat next to him. Serve others. As a leader, serve others. Show justice. Manifest honesty. जिंदगी में अगर बड़ा आदमी बनना है तो छोटे काम मत करिए. Build community. Have that kind of community. And remove toxicity from you. And the moment you remove toxicity, you will realize that earlier when you were saying, I can't do it, the moment you remove toxicity, you will say, I can do it. And if toxicity was there, you will always say, I'm going to quit. Then you will say, instead of quitting it, you will say, do it. And finally, the true leader, they don't create followers, they create more leaders. Jai Hind, I have finished. If you have any questions, I'll be gladly answering them.
Thank you, Brigadier Datta, for that insightful session and giving us such wonderful examples, which I'm sure each one of us could relate, from the defense as well as from the your corporate experience. So I have a question that you spoke about empowering, encouraging, have a vision, be disciplined. How important it is to have empathy to be a great leader.
You see, empathy is very, very important because unless you are empathetic, and that's why in army, you see, when we got commissioned and we became officers, of course, I knew because my father was also in the army, but some of the officers who came from a civil background, they were made to stay with the Jawans in the barracks for 6 months. They were made to have food with them. They were made to, learn about their families. They were made to celebrate the regimental functions. It was because if you don't have empathy as a leader, I'm afraid you will not be able to understand their problems. Because you see, the pain of little finger is the pain of body. So if your subordinates are not happy, if your team members are not happy, I'm 100% confident that you will not be able to carry out a successful operation, or successfully you will not be able to achieve the goals. So you should understand their problems, you should understand their challenges, and you should try to associate with them.
Excellent, wonderful.
Brigadier Vinod,
Yeah.
How important is it to have a high emotional quotient to be a leader? Because these days schools are stressing more on IQ. They're not focusing on the emotional quotient of children who are mentally quite fragile, I would say. So how important is EQ?
EQ is very important. You see, intelligence quotient, very nice question. You see, IQ will get you, good marks, good jobs. But EQ is a thing which is going to make you successful in your life. The schools, the colleges, they give you knowledge, but to be successful in life, what you require is wisdom, vivek chahiye. So you have to have a very happy mix of both. So that's why EQ is equally important.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Ela, you need to unmute yourself.
Sorry, yeah. Thank you, Brigadier Datta, for an amazing talk.
Thank you.
It was so interesting. और आपने जो बीच-बीच में शायरी का उसमें जो डाला तड़का जिसको बोलना चाहिए, वो बहुत अच्छा था. और actually आपने इतने अच्छे examples दिए हैं that I wish your talk can reach more and more people. So thank you for this. And now I have a question for you. How can a leader stay unbiased? क्योंकि हम देखते हैं कि किसी एक लेवल पे जाके जब लीडर एक पेडिस्टल पे पहुंच जाते हैं तो थोड़े टाइम के बाद में जिसको वो टैलेंट मैपिंग समझ के ग्रूम करने लगता है, फेवरेट बना लेता है, तो वो जो फेवरेटिज्म से वो कैसे बच सकता है? हाउ कैन ही एस्केप बीइंग पार्शियल और अनबायस्ड?
Yeah, that's again a very good question and very difficult to answer. देखिए, it is very difficult. Everybody has got favorites, and as she rightly brought out, there is a difference between pampering and grooming. You see, in grooming, you are, grooming is like a potter's play, where you are giving positive stroke to a personality, and where you are, making that person, आप उस सांचे में उसको ढाल रहे हैं जैसा आप उसे चाहते हैं. Pampering is like, if I tell my child, oh yaar, I know your principal or I know your class teacher, just don't worry, you will get the best marks. And he will get, or she will get. But when this boy or a girl, she comes up for the board exams or she's coming up for a job, उस समय वो बाप या बेटे या जो बेटी और father हैं, वो एक साथ बैठ के रोएंगे. That what have I done to my child? So it is very, very, important. Yes, you should be above the bias, but if you like somebody, if you like work, you will be biased towards a person who's hardworking. If you're punctual, you will like, a person who's punctual, but by no stretch of imagination, it should, overtake you. जैसा आपने देखा कि रामचंद्र जी के जो फादर थे, उनको मोक्ष नहीं मिला था, भगवान के ही फादर थे, क्योंकि उनकी आसक्ति, उनका प्रेम अपने बच्चे के प्रति इतना ज्यादा था, तो उनको दोबारा जन्म लेना पड़ा. तो इस तरह की जो आसक्ति है वो नहीं होनी चाहिए. You should, reward the merit and not the mediocrity should not be rewarded. The merit should be rewarded.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
May I ask another question?
Please, Auntie, please.
Brigadier Datta,
Yeah.
What is the one, if you were to point out, what is the one outstanding quality of a good leader or of a great leader? One quality.
Yeah, one quality is that you must lead from front. You should not have any baggage.
So, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Because there is
Savita,
a-
please go ahead.
Yes. आप
Yeah.
क्या बोल रहे थे?
No, we'll have Savita's question, then I'll tell you.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
What an excellent presentation.
Thank
और
you.
बहुत ही interesting, बहुत ही अच्छा. Lots of learnings I have noted down. I am so thankful to you. And my question is also related to Ila ji's question. कि जब लीडर अनबायस होता है तो जो टीम मेंबर्स हैं उनका क्या रिस्पॉन्स रहना चाहिए, क्योंकि हम एज अ टीम मेंबर फिर हमें डिमोटिवेटेड हो जाते हैं हम लोग, तो उस स्थिति में हमें क्या करना चाहिए?
देखिए, I'll give you a small example.
Great.
You consider that this is a 100 rupee note. ठीक है? I will just crush it. ठीक है?
ठीक है.
And after this, sometime, I will straighten it. If the leader is biased or if leader is favoring somebody else, after crushing this note, has its value come down? No, it is not. अभी भी ये 100 रुपए में ही चलेगा. So such leaders who are, biased or who are, encouraging favoritism, they don't last. They can crush you, they can crumble you for some time, but after some time you are going to rise and shine, and your value probably is going to be more. So such people, such toxic people, such toxic leaders, they cannot stand. Like आपने देखा होगा गांव में, जैसे आपने बोरी होती है, जब धान या उसमें गेहूं रखा जाता है, तो जब तक उसके अंदर कोई सब्सटेंस होता है तब तक तो उस बोरी की हिफाजत करते हैं, इसको ऊपर रखिए, चूहे से बचाइए. जब उसका धान निकल जाता है, सब्सटेंस निकल जाता है, तो उसको गांव में डोरमैट से होते नहीं है, तो उसको दरवाजे पे लगा दिया जाता है बतौर डोरमैट, एंड एवरीबडी स्टार्ट्स rubbing their feet on that. So such people don't last. So if you have that kind of personality in you, yes, they will you will shine. वो कहते हैं ना कि success can be delayed, it cannot be denied.
Yeah, Dr. Vinod, just one question.
Yes, sir.
I'm Rakesh Pachori, and I've been with most of the corporates. My question is, what's the difference between a corporate leader, a political leader, and an army leader?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, very nice. This, yeah.
Because there's a lot of
that's my
political
husband.
jumping on right now.
He's my husband who has asked this question to you.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. You see, when I left army and I joined corporate, I was asked by somebody. He says, "What is the difference between army life and corporate life?" So I told him, as a military leader, at least I knew, which side is the enemy.
I know.
And in corporates, I mean, I would not like to amplify it further, because you see, it can be. Yeah. Some of the corporates, or especially, the corporates also have a very healthy culture, and they are result oriented and they are mission oriented. Unfortunately, what is happening is that at times, as a military leader, you are mission oriented, because in military parlance, there is no runners-up prize.
There are set rules.
Yeah, there are set rules. You can't say that there was a war between China and India was runners-up, we came second. There is no scope for that. हमारे यहाँ दो ही चीजें हैं, वीरता या वीरगति. या तो आप विजय प्राप्त करेंगे या वीरगति. There is no point coming back and telling your regiment. Whereas, yes, in corporate, that's why I had shown that slide, difference between leader and manager. So in corporates, you can always have a rethink. There can be slippages. There can be, like in the economics, there is a law which says when other things remaining the same. So, so you can always have a rethink. You can always have, whereas in army, they always say, never reinforce your failure. If your attack is not going from one direction, there's no point trying it again. Change the direction or whatever variables you want to change.
And there was one more breed which you left, and that was the political leader.
Yeah, political. Political leaders की definition आप मेरे को WhatsApp पे we will talk, and I don't want to. We will have a good chat on that.
Great.
Because you see, unfortunately, what is happening is there are very good political leaders. There are, organic leaders.
Yeah.
But large number of the leaders, you see, leadership has become dealership.
True.
Yeah. So, like I'll give you an example of, Ratan Tata. When this Hotel Taj was attacked,
right?
You see, it's a case study. You see, whenever there is a crisis situation, what happens is you have only two options: fight or flight. You see, in our head, there is a, that badam kind of thing, organ, which is called amygdala. And you see, that is called formatting of the mind. That's why we are trained that, yes, I am going to fight. I will not go back. So what had happened is, Ratan Tata himself said that the loss is mine. None of the staff will be removed from the job. You will keep getting your paychecks on the date on which you are getting. And they literally fought like warriors. And right. the HR policies which they have, they are not going to, very, very big cities. They are, getting their human capital from satellite stations, satellite cities. They are asking teachers, they are interacting with the principals, they are interacting with neighbors, and then they are selecting people. So once you have that kind of dedication, once you have that kind of team, and once you look after your subordinates in that way, I am sure they are going to take you on your shoulders.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Nice meeting you.
Good evening, Brigadier Datta. Nice to see you after so many years. Yes. And we are speaking about corporate leadership, military leadership, and political leadership also. I have a question. As mothers also, we are leaders in families. So what is the recipe to create leaders who are our children? How to make them leaders?
Yeah, in this series, what Ekta had earlier said, that this is a leadership, we have set the ball rolling. Next time, we are going to talk on adaptive leadership. And the next series is going to be role of mothers in shaping leaders. So we are going to have
this is most important, I think.
Yeah, we will have.
Mothers are very important role in
they have a very, I'm going to talk on that. And the last session, we are going to have a wash-up session where, we are going to have a powwow where, you can ask questions, or even I can ask questions, because I'm also taking a lot of points from you. It is not that I have not learned anything from this session, because we have such, vibrant minds. So there were, I think, 73 participants, as I saw. So 73 into that much of experience, even I'm, taking some points home. So we are having a session purely on role of mothers in shaping leaders.
Yes,
and thank you so much. That's important, I think.
Yes, so that session, our next session will be on 16th December, same time, 4 p.m. So block your December, Wednesdays of December, the 16th, 23rd, and the 30th for the upcoming 3 sessions. So I have a question to you, Brigadier Datta, and this was a question that, I was asked as a person, who has been in position, where I have led a team, and now I, run my own setup also. And, the question that was asked to me was that, what makes a great leader, or the philosophy of efficient leadership? So what came to my mind, and the way I had answered that question was that to me that there are internal and external factors or traits that a leader needs to have. So I'm just going to highlight them, and I'd like your inputs also on this. One, from an external point of view, it is very important to trust your team, which you also highlighted. Have empathy towards the team, grow with them, and look at more inclusive growth, right? But in my 11 to 12 years of corporate experience before I hung my boots and became an entrepreneur, what I saw was that very few leaders actually believed in the concept of inclusive growth. While they thought that they were great leaders, so one, how can a leader, I mean, as you said in the Forge, it's do or die, right? And that is the motto for everybody, be it the army chief or a Jawan. But in a corporate world, since it is not a question of do or die, how does a leader imbibe those things and puts the team in front? Because I feel if you can motivate the team, if you can get the right output from the team, that is where the effectivity of a leader comes. So what is your take on this?
I just gave you an example of Tata's. As a business leader, also you have to look after your team. Like I told you, the kind of selection system which they have. They are not going for big B schools, or they are going to tier 2, tier 3 schools also. They are basically focusing on the values, the vision which people have, the vibes which they are giving. Secondly is in corporate also, it is not that you have to just squeeze a person like a lemon and then throw him. What you have to do is, you may, like Tata's, they are not paying very handsome salaries, but the kind of values they are giving, like if somebody appreciates a subordinate and it is conveyed to the management, he is immediately rewarded. The point which I gave you, you must reward yourself. Aapko apna, you should know how to pat your back. So this is very important, because unless you see, there is a very good saying that praises are wages. People are not looking for monetary gains. Today, money has lost its value. I remember, I was sitting in a CCD when a girl, she must be 25, 26. She came, and people of our vintage, we go to CCD. तो पहली बात तो हम जाते नहीं है वहां ऐसी जगहों पे. अच्छा, चले भी जाएं तो पहले रेट लिस्ट देखते रहते हैं काफी देर तक. फिर उसके बाद that girl came, she ordered coffee and some snacks, and she opened her laptop and she started working. I was waiting for somebody. So by the time the gentleman came, I was thinking, yeah, kya hai, what are this thing? She worked. We had a discussion with that gentleman, and she was working. She coolly, shut her laptop. After say about 2 hours, she went back, and happily, uske chehre pe koi shikar nahi. So, whereas हमारा बंदा ऐसे ही सोचता है, अरे यार क्या 400 रुपए में कॉफी पी के आ गए, झागी तो था, घर पे ही पी लेते आके. So that is the paradigm shift which is there. So today people have there's no dearth of money. There's no value for money. People are ready to spend, but people want, they want recognition. They want that their effort should be recognized. They require validation. They require that, yes, my whatever hard work I'm putting, I should be rewarded for that. So that is very important. So you have to look after your team, and the team will in turn look after you.
And I think it's very important, that as a leader, we need to incorporate the culture of being creative and, inviting people to take initiative.
Yes.
And I think that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned in my, as a subordinate or as a leader, that, delegation is one thing that you spoke about. I think as a leader, it's very important that we learn to delegate. And that's where a lot of people who think they are leaders become managers because they forget to delegate. So any other question? Anybody? Anything you would like to say or share your
in
thoughts?
chats, there are some questions, I think, or some suggestions.
There's in this day and age where online education is coming to the fore, how do we inculcate these leadership qualities which are often by example? You demonstrate the values and people follow. So in online education, how do we inculcate these leadership qualities in people, these values?
Well, you see, India was planning earlier, before this pandemic, that the online education system or digital education, India will be able to achieve by 2030.
Ji.
So they always say that it is not that the all storms come to disrupt your way. There are some storms which also come and scavenge your way.
Yeah.
So, what India could not achieve so far, or it would have taken another 10 years, the online education, it got implemented within 3, 4, 5 months. And now, I remember first time when I took this online, I told him, I don't want to take any classes. If you want to call me, despite Corona, I can come. He says, but sir, people can't come. I said, yeah, it is too much of a hassle. Today, I give lectures on all kind of platforms, and I'm quite, काम चला लेता हूँ मैं अपना. So that is, you see, if 2020 is a year of realization. So people have realized what is the value of, environment, what is the value of money. I remember Sadhguru's, in one of the talks he was telling me, he says, if you think money is more dearer to you, if you think your girlfriend is more dearer to you, if you think your boyfriend is more dearer to you, एक बार अपना नाक बंद करके बोलना and just stop breathing. And then you will say, no, my life is more precious to me. I don't want anything. So that is what, realization we have had. And yes, the physical or the human interface is a must. At least we are missing it, and the posterity is going to miss it. So this
Yes.
virtual education is a good thing, but yes, we must graduate, or we must go back to that human interface,
Yes.
which is very, very important.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica Goel, for giving a feedback. Good session.
Can I ask another question, Ekta?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
Kavita, please go ahead.
Yeah, please, please, please.
How am I leader in my daily life? I am a professional.
Yes, I want to cover it in the third one, third series. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is, you have taken words out of my mouth, and I'll cover it in detail, and I will note it down, and I will cover it.
Yes, your presentation has been so enriching, so interesting.
Yeah,
that
very
we
good.
actually look
Yeah,
forward to all your sessions.
Yeah, it will be a pleasure.
Yes, surely.
Any further questions? Yes, Anita, I think you want to ask something.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Actually, one leader is there under the leadership, 40 members are there. Suppose 2 are not listening to the leader and 38 are listening. So how do we cope up this situation, sir, to get aligned with all the 40 members with the leader?
Yeah. You will always have such people.
Right.
आपने देखिए, पहली बात तो it is a case of conflict resolution, and उसके अंदर हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि we can counsel him, we can have a discussion with him, लेकिन still people don't listen or they are adamant. तो आपने हवन किया होगा, हवन करते हैं ना?
जी जी.
हाँ, तो हवन में जो सबसे पहली आहुति होती है वो खल की दी जाती है, खलनायकों की.
Right.
और वो इसलिए दी जाती है कि ये जितने इस तरह के जो राक्षस प्रवृत्ति के लोग होते हैं या जिस तरह की जो खलनायक होते हैं वो शांत रहें और आपका जो कार्य है वो मंगल रूप से पूर्ण हो जाए. तो बजाय इसके कि इनसे सींग लड़ाने के, इट इज ऑलवेज बेटर दैट वी गिव दैट आहुति एंड गिव दैट मच ऑफ टाइम टू देम, एंड दे विल रियलाइज द मोमेंट यू नेग्लेक्ट देम or the moment you sidetrack them. I am not saying from a negative point of view, but yes, from the organizational point of view, that yes, 38 people will take the load of those 2 people, because you see, then they will become passengers. But if you give them too much of attention, then they are going to be chain pullers. तो पैसेंजर को तो इंजन ले जा सकता है, जो चेन पुलर की वजह से ट्रेन लेट होती है.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Any questions anybody would like to ask? So I guess, Veeradatta, it was indeed a very insightful session, and some of the people had got logged off from Bangalore because of some load shedding over there. But we will share the link, and we extend an invitation to all of you to join us on the 16th at 4 p.m. for the next session by Brigadier Datta on adaptive leadership. And the third one would be on role of mothers in shaping leaders. And the last would be the the culmination of learning and unlearning that we would be talking about. Yes, Mr. Pachauri, you want to ask something? Okay, okay, I think he exited. So, fine. So, if you have no further questions, thank you so much, Brigadier Datta, for for this insightful session. Indeed, I think all of us are taking back a lot to to ponder over, to think, and hone up our leadership skills. And I'm sure if there are any further questions that you have, you're most welcome to leave your questions on our page MQ on Facebook, or you could even put your questions on the WhatsApp group that is being created for the series. And I'm sure Brigadier Datta would be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening, and we will see you all next Wednesday on the 16th of December at 4 p.m. So on behalf of MQ, Ela and Ekta, thank you very much for joining in for this wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brigadier Datta,
Thank you,
and thank you
Brigadier
all for
Datta.
joining.
Thank you
sir.
so much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.